Hi, welcome back to the Dylan Rounds case. Welcome if you're currently here. Today we're going to be doing a discussion. We will also be covering the most recent video, giving my opinion analysis of it to do with Lance Kelly talking about Ty Corbin and supposedly exposing him in quite a negative way. Okay. What I do want to say right now, and I will repeat it later on, just in case Ty Corbin turns up a little bit too late and wonders what's going on. Take in mind, anyone watching right now, you can repeat this message by me later on to Ty, is I need to provide different point of views, because to begin with, we looked at Ty Corbin himself, and it was very brief, of course. We looked at just the initial plans, what Ty had, where he was going to go himself and what he was going to do. We did that. Then we looked at Lance, okay, two different ones. And then we looked at Ty Corbin. We cleared up, the misunderstandings and everything, right? So that was all fine, to do with not associating with the other person, the other party. That was cleared up. Now we're looking at it from what Lance has to say. Now, we counted it probably the day before that, but that was to do with some other bits and bobs. It goes in, I guess, kind of like a bit deeper this time round, okay? So whilst we do mention some of the quotes and accusations and stuff aimed towards Ty, hopefully this video, whether it be in the live premiere format or afterwards, Ty Corbin, if he wishes to, can show up and share his thoughts, right? He can counter points, he can give his side of the story in return, because you might not want to be doing it directly on Lance's channel, because you want to distance yourself and it would probably cause more drama, right? So whilst it's okay for one side to be covered, the other side needs to be covered as well, because if not, it'll be too one-sided, and that's what we don't want. That's what others have done, okay? Take in mind, aside from that, if you haven't checked out my video yesterday, feel free to do so. It was looking at Kenny Veach and the M Cave case, supposed new M Cave found. I'll provide a link down below in the pinned comment section, okay? Also today, we're going to be looking at the Dylan Rounds forum, continue on, see if there's any more interesting information. The last time we did, there was some very interesting questions about the rainfall and the time and the seed truck and some other bits and bobs. So it's surprising what you can come across when looking back, okay? As for the Find Dylan Rounds Facebook page, not really seen much on that since, no big updates. So we're still awaiting the statement by Candice Cooley, whenever that will drop, okay? We also have a mascot of Ty Corbin with us today, okay? So in case he doesn't show up immediately, we've got Ty Chili Corbin. Unfortunately, the text is back to front because of the front-facing camera I'm using, but some of you will already be aware of, seeing this. So this is Ty Chili Corbin, okay? So Ty, looks like, I don't know, you look a bit thinner this time, not as filled in. What's going on, Ty Chili? Can you explain? You've been busy chopping the wood down, getting on with all that stuff whilst it's snowing. That's fine, I understand that. Now, I heard just recently that Wes Stump, okay? No, Ty, don't think about cutting him up, okay? I know he's called Stump, but he is an actual person, so don't worry. But I heard that Wes said he can chop those trees up much quicker than you could ever in your life. What do you have to say about that? Whoa, calm down. Just put that down, Ty. Come on, please. Be fair, come on, okay. Whoa, okay. So I retract my statement. Ty Corbin is still the fastest tree cutter in Montello in Nevada and probably the fastest sheep shearer as well. Okay. Also, speaking of Ty, he said he prefers the Nerf long shot over something like this. I mean, as soon as I pull this out, Maria is already going to be tutting. Ew, ew, nader, 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 no me gusta. It's like, Maria, this does not concern you. Okay. But yes, this is my version. Okay. This is not Brenner's handgun. Okay. Don't worry. This is just like a prop item. Okay. But look, it's non-lethal. It's very soft and squidgy. Yeah, you like that? But any resistance from anyone, it will result in this. Exactly, we don't want that to happen, because whilst we do have defense mechanisms like this, it's always nice to have some cards up one sleeve, right? So I don't know what Sarcasm uses, what type of Nerf gun he has. Does he have the Nerf like Gatling gun? Does he have the Nerf shotgun? I don't know, maybe he can explain later on. Make sure to do so to Sarcasm, okay? Also, speaking of which, there's some other points to mention. We are also going to be taking a look at the current situation of and on my channel, as for possible drama, as for possible resistance which could impact others. We're going to talk about that as well because it's quite important. No pissing about, okay? And some possible solutions too. It's under control and it might help people as well. Speaking of the belt, just before I do forget, one of the viewers from yesterday called Tammy Webb. I don't know if Tammy is watching right now. I know she did watch my videos when I covered the M. Cave Kenny Veach case, but if you're secretly watching in the background, I did see your previous comment last night where you said you want more of the whips. Don't worry, here we go. Tammy, I hope you're there. Okay. Now, if you're not there, it might be a delayed reaction, but I'm sure it'll come your way eventually, okay? Is there anything else we need to talk about before we go in too hard? I mean, I think what we'll do, we'll look at the land stuff first, and then we can refer to the other things, okay? But one thing just to make note of, which was a bit ironic and weird at the same time, I can't remember when it was now, it was probably like maybe 4 or 5 days ago, and some like random individual popped up in the chat. There were a male, right, it's kind of ironic, but there were a male, they had a male username, and then they said, well, like Raf, you're so misogynistic. And I'm like, what sort of Me Too bandwagon are you on? What the hell are you talking about? You know, I just thought, random. I mean, because like, look, at the end of the day, even like last night, I was crippled from Maria's head massage. I have been rammed and stolen and everything from Gorilla Jack stealing the banana and the small whip. Like, you know, what next? Stoney will probably end up stoning me at some point, throwing rocks and stones at me. Cleo has made objects disappear but never told me how to find them, retrace them, so that's unfortunate. You see where the pattern is going, right? But no, you put it aside like on a more serious scale. At the end of the day, you don't just go around saying this, doing that, right? First of all, you got to have the senses that that person's got a good sense of humour, which for most part of it, majority of the people do have a good sense of humour here, which is obviously very good, and it's good of them. And then you can do this and then you can say that and it doesn't cause any resistance. When it comes to new viewers that do come in or people that could be a little bit defensive, obviously I'm not going to do this or that because I'm not stupid, right? Okay, there's obviously levels of what can and can't be done. So we don't need to go into some kind of long sociological class divide or sociology class report, okay? Because we're already in class time right now because there'll probably be people misbehaving right now. Yeah, Maria Moshano, Where's Stump, Stoney, and Ashley whenever she does appear to pop up when she's not lost in Walmart? Yeah, all of you are misbehaving, obsessed about certain bits and bobs. You have no idea what's coming next. Or what I should say, in the future. Ooh, no. Okay? So try and be on good behaviour. Okay? Or things will be reversed. Right? So let's just put that aside. What else is there? Ellen Berg, not really seen her recently. Indiana, 59, I've not seen her recently. But some of those can be explained, okay? And we can get more in depth later on, as I said. But as for like Indiana, who regularly appears in the chat of these videos, she is still present. She is watching in the background, but she's taking a break from the live chats because I guess maybe because of drama, just to sit back and actually take the video in as I'm talking, because I guess sometimes it gets distracting, the chat maybe, for some people. I get that. Maybe in more recent time, it's very distracting for some people. Maybe some people are trying to read through, but they keep, getting distracted by other comments. But yeah, just wanted to confirm that Indiana is still around. She hasn't gone missing. She hasn't been kidnapped. She's still present. As for Ellen Berg, she has gone quiet as well. I've not seen her as much or at all in the live chat, but she could be watching in the background. I think she did leave a super chat last time, so that's good of her. But then I'm sure she responded underneath to someone else saying, "I've been hacked again, my account." Now, it was all by the same person. I don't know what's going on there, if Ellen can explain at some point about being hacked. I mean, I know some weird things have gone on in the case community, whether it be people's locations or, I don't know, police being sent round false reports. That seems to be getting a bit more serious and personal now. I mean, as for Ellen Berg, there was I guess that video on Bella V's live stream. I don't know if Ellen is just keeping her head down in between to let the dust settle. I mean, if you want me to do some kind of analysis on it at some point, then let me know. But maybe, if there's anything else in the background or in real life going on, maybe that's why she's not as active. But the bit about account being hacked, I don't know what she means exactly. YouTube account, Facebook account, elsewhere. I didn't see the profile picture change. I've not seen any fake comments or, resistance by her. So I don't know how or why or when she's been hacked, if any of you know. You don't have to, but if you've had any bad experiences within the Dylan Rounds case community, feel free to share it down below in the chat if you want, because as I said, as we do go along in this video all the way through and throughout, you can share your thoughts, opinions, reactions, and talk about other things too. Try not to get too carried away at times though, when we're looking at some critical points, okay, because there is some serious focus at times when it comes to trying to cover the case or make sense of something. We don't want it being blinded, or we don't want misdirection, because we have seen indirect and direct, and it can cause issues and problems, okay? So yeah, I think that explains that part. As for pancakes, it was very briefly discussed last night. I did see Jimmy Boy. Does anyone call him that? Jimmy T? That can be his new name. Pancakes called in on Jimmy T, and immediately I knew it was Pancakes, but at the time I wasn't too sure if Pancakes was trying to put on a disguised voice. You know what I'm saying? But it sounded a bit deeper. He sounded like he had a really bad cold. Someone in the chat from last night was saying that he was emotional or sad. That could explain to why his voice sounded different, but you're like calling in. I can't remember what he said. I think he was like, "Yeah, man,
you gonna be telling them about their calling the work? Like, well, why are you gonna be calling the work? How many times have you been calling? What's going on? I'm sick of this. What are you doing? Why are you trying to harass me? I thought we had it all in control. What about the railroad? What about all the stealing? Who's gonna come to town? I mean, more child support? Or, what? I cannot take this. No, 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 no. I don't know what you're trying to prove. I don't know what you want, but I think I'm gonna go now and put the phone down. Yeah.
Something like that. I didn't quite understand it, but supposedly Jim has something on Pancakes, and that's why Pancakes left. Yeah, but it's been one of those things where it's been so back and forth, right? And then on one of Pancake's videos mentioning about, I think this happened before that one, where police were called to Jim Terry's father's place of work, one of those false calls, right? It was by someone else, whoever. And then Pancakes, when he was reacting to it, it was just interesting what he said. He was like, oh, well, as like what Jim said and what I say, you can trash each other, but then when you start involving families, friends, or like locations, then it becomes a bit of an issue, and it shouldn't be allowed that. And when I heard that, I was just thinking, wait, I'm sure families have got involved previously. I'm sure Pancakes did a video where he said that either Jim or Doug from No Thanks was saying something about his children and an inappropriate thing that was going to happen. So they've already been involving families and other people in the background, which supposedly isn't supposed to happen, but has already happened. But Pancakes is saying it hasn't. So is there a lot of backtracking going on? Like, is this the new pattern, the new wave, the new trend, right? So previously I said about predictions of backstabbing, going back and forth, right? Changing sides, pledging allegiance with one another, and then afterwards changing, and then later returning back like nothing ever happened. Are we seeing backtracking in opinions, thoughts, and ideas, right? I mean, that U-turn, okay? That turning point. It's like, is it a natural change of thoughts, opinion, or is there another reason for it? Kind of like with how some people say Doug, he backtracks and changes, but it's to benefit him in some way or another, right? Is it happening with the other people in the case or outside of the case, branching out? What do you think? Do a poll right now. Do you think there is more backtracking of attitude, opinions now? Maybe more than before? Leave your thoughts. Small example. Back when I was covering the Kenny Veach M Cave case, and I looked at the keyhole eye creature thing, and I was saying, oh, it looks like an eye. It looks like something is there. I didn't say it's 100% something. I just said it looks like. Okay, so I was already using uncertain language, right? That's just one of my things. But then down the line, after a few months passed, I wanted to see it from the other side, what other people were seeing, and try and understand why and how they could do that. And I managed to. And then with that, with understanding that new way, that new perspective, I changed my thoughts and opinions of it, and I said, no, it's not a creature, it's more of a psychological illusion with the camera and all of that, as I've explained previous. Now, people thought that was suspicious at the time. People thought and accused me of being paid off or being silenced by someone, right? But it didn't happen overnight, that change of opinion. It took some time. I had to look into it kind of deep. Is the same happening within the Dylan Rounds case? Or people switching and changing back so fast, like back, forth? I think that's kind of the case. I know some people made one observation in recent times saying Pancakes was all about Kurt Wadsworth, giving him a voice, a platform to speak on, defending Kurt. And then people were saying Pancakes has changed now. Pancakes seems to be calling out Kurt or disassociating himself with him, being a bit suspicious, backtracking almost. I mean, I've not looked too deep at that part, but it wouldn't surprise me. Let me know if there's anyone else who's backtracked with opinions and ideas, right? I mean, if it's natural, it's natural, but I don't think that's quite the case when we've seen all the other stuff going on in between, right? Do we have anything else to cover? I don't think so. If I do think of any other thoughts as we do go along, I will point them out, okay? So I think what we should do is look at what Lance had to say, right? Ah, that's it, just remembered something. Told you this would happen. One thing I just randomly picked up on, you know the Shack Lady? Like, does the Shack Lady talk loud like Jim Terry? Is it natural? Or is the Shack Lady talking loud randomly at times? It's just like, it's like, I was like, whoa, calm down. I know the Shack Lady said she's taking, is it testosterone or something? I hope I got the right one, the right supplement or the thing they're taking. But she said she's taking something. Oh no, no, it's not. It's steroids. I got the wrong one. Oh no. Hopefully the Shack Lady doesn't see this. But yeah, I think she said she was taking steroids, but it causes. What does it cause her? It causes her to speak faster than usual, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Shack Lady, but I'm sure that's what I heard. And speaking of that, I don't know if it's just at times, but it always sounds like the Shack Lady has something stuck in her mouth. And I don't mean that in an inappropriate way. I mean like whether she's chewing on nuts, if she's got nuts in her mouth at the time, or if it's like raisins, or maybe it's KFC chicken, I don't know. It just sounds like she's eaten. Obviously, I'm not practiced the impression yet, but I'm sure maybe I can demonstrate it afterwards. But sometimes like 5 or 6 stuff, don't do it. I mean, like, are we at some kind of auction trade event? I don't know, but I think we can get more into that later on. So as we are referring back to the main part of this video, okay? Welcome if you're here. We are taking a look at what Lance Kelly has had to say most recent, which was probably yesterday, okay? If you're present right now, Ty Corbin, feel free to share your thoughts, your response, clear up any misinformation possibly presented by Lance Kelly, if that's the case, okay? Just know that I've got to look at it from his perspective in this video. Hopefully you understand, Ty, okay? So, the intro of Lance's video was interesting. I don't know, do you know what, I'll be honest, I'm starting to sound like a bit like pancakes and with that stutter, god damn it. I'm noticing patterns, small patterns. When I was talking about thumbnails and making them clean, clear cut, Doug from No Thanks did something similar just after I said that in the past. When I was talking about predictions, predicting this, predicting that, the structure of this and that, Jim Terry started talking about predictions and using that word, predictions, coming true. When I've done my dodgy intros, how I just suddenly appear in front of the camera, that's exactly what Lance Kelly did. Like, he literally just like zoomed into the side with his eyes up against the bloody camera, and I was like, what the hell's going on here? Like, whoa, calm down. What the hell's going on? You know, like that. And then what was the other thing that's happened? I'm sure I saw like I don't know if it did happen, but I'm sure I saw a scheduled video, and it was to do with Jim Terry visiting a gas station or a motel or something and reviewing it. And it's like, huh, that's what I've been doing all these months. Interesting. I mean, these little snippets of behavior and actions can mirror interactional synchrony with others, right? So just be wary of that pattern. Not that it's a bad thing, it's just interesting how people do catch on to little pointers. Just like if you're trying to impersonate someone, right? You just catch on to certain things, whether it be body language or someone's voice. You know, if it's Betty Haywood, it's... where's my headband? You know, kind of like that. If it's Brookie, can't quite do it on the spot. It requires a few more props, but it's like something like that. my new music has dropped, please watch it and give me a cash app. Something like that. Enhanced elsewhere, but you get me. If it's Stoney, I haven't even got to Stoney yet. If it's Bellavy, well, you just gotta do a croaky voice. What am I talking about? I'm so wet. Kind of like that. If it's Pancakes, peg on the nose, start doing a whiny American accent, right? If it's Jay Silverheels, do a bit of a cowboy accent, kind of angry, okay? Is there anyone else? If there's anyone else that needs to be covered, feel free to list it down below in the comment section or the live chat, okay? If you want to see ones redone again, feel free to say that too, and I can do so in the future. I guess the next one could be the Shack Lady. Try and do her voice, if it's even possible, right? Time will tell though, of course. But yeah, put all those patterns and stuff aside, right? When Lance Kelly did his little intro up close and he started getting straight into it about Ty Corbin. So everything that was said, for the most part of it, in the previous video, where some were like, yeah, but is it really being aimed at Ty because his name's not actually mentioned in the video? Well, I would definitely say it's been confirmed now, okay? So the video is not that long, first of all, right? The points I've mentioned are pretty short because there's no point, literally doing it the same length as what he's done, right? Okay, he's provided pictures, videos, supposed evidence to prove some of his points. Fair enough, I guess that's okay. If you do want to check them out yourself, you're probably better off checking his video out. You can't just take everything from him, that's his actual video. I'm just simply giving my opinion, analysis of it, what do I think of it, how do I react to it, and then also provide an alternative video and platform for Ty Corbin to speak on, well, leave a comment or in the chat, whatever, if he needs to, right? I don't know if this video will get resistance, but if it does, well, we just do what we've done all the other times beforehand, okay? So, Lance, first of all, said about Ty Corbin wanted to be on camera a lot, then followed it up by saying Ty was also talking about in a conversation several times that in the words of Ty, or no, in the words of Lance, he was going to get a movie deal, and said that several times. Now, I personally don't know if that's true, but that's just what Lance Kelly is saying from being in the presence of Ty in the past. Okay. He said that Ty said it in front of other people as well. I don't know who those other people are. Referring to Les Natal, maybe, Scott Natal. I mean, if there's other people that can come in, share their voice, and back up, support what Lance is claiming, or counteract and stand up for Ty, why not? There's no harm. And this is where the first bit of video proof, if you want to call it that, to support the idea of Ty wanting to get a movie deal and wanting to appear on camera a lot. I wouldn't say it's the strongest of evidence. It's put all this together to make it seem like that's what Ty is all about, okay? So you could say, some people could agree, maybe others won't, but I'll just kind of summarize it. So Lance was just showing footage from, I think, Arizona Traveler or something. That guy, he's participated in the case when the Arizona guy was, I think, at Ty Corbin's place. Ty was sat down in a chair. The other guy's talking to him like an interview. He pans the camera away slightly and Ty's like, get the camera back on my face. I guess what Lance is trying to depict there is Ty is narcissistic. He wants all the limelight and focus on his face. My opinion, I would say, is probably just simply because Ty was maybe talking about important points at the time. And just like when you're having a conversation with someone, arguably it tends to be more polite if you're making eye contact, or at least looking towards the person as they talk. If you're looking away, it could be seen as you're disinterested, you're not listening, disrespectful. So that's possibly why Ty wanted the camera focused on him because maybe the camera guy wasn't looking directly at Ty at the time. Because in a way, Ty may have wanted to get a message across to the general public who do watch the videos, right? I think it was uploaded by the Arizona guy onto his channel, but if you're not only having a conversation with the person present there, but you're also trying to talk, highlight a point, clear something up towards the general public out there, the message tends to hit harder when, first of all, you show your face. You're not hiding behind a screen or a mask, right? You're in camera shot, your face is on show, you're not hiding, eye contact made to an extent, people are more likely to listen and to watch. But the camera isn't pointing on that person, then it's like, oh, well, this is a bit amateur, right? It could be a serious moment, so come on, get the camera back on me and let's do this interview. Let's do this now. I mean, what would be a counterpoint to that? Not the best, but like when you get these live streams, these interviews and call-ins, quite often people don't show the face. They just have the little profile picture, animated, cartoon, whatever it might be, on all these different channels. And then the talk, you don't see the face, and it's like, oh, you know, are you supposed to take it seriously? I mean, like Jim Terry, he shows his face. Pancakes, he shows his face. Tyler Feller, he's done. But then other people, they don't. There'll be numerous reasons to why, privacy reasons. They don't feel like it, they don't really want to, but you know, you compare it to like if you're addressing a serious point and you want to get that message across, you want to be credible, you want to be believable, right? Sometimes if you dress the part, you act the part, and also you show, people are more likely to listen. Just a little pointer, right? So I just wanted to provide a little counterpoint to how it was portrayed there. And then there's a little bit more footage as well, where I guess you could call it deleted footage or unreleased footage, which wasn't included in all of those videos of Lance's, right? And it was like Ty talking in the background, and then one of it where Ty was kicking over like a dead tree. And I'm just like, okay, what's that got to do with Ty wanting to appear in the movies and wanting to appear on camera? Like, it's just like messing about. I don't quite understand. But I think what Lance was trying to get across was maybe more to do with wanting to be on camera a lot. Because in that moment with kicking the tree over, although it's completely irrelevant to the case and overall, Lance, I think, was doing some other stuff or looking around, and then Ty was like, come on, you got a camera on, come on, move the camera around, come on, put the camera on my face. It's like, all right, you know, it's probably to do with like being an attention whore. I think that's what Lance is accusing Ty of, okay? So Ty Corbin, if you're here right now or later, feel free to share your thoughts and opinions about that, what Lance is calling you out on, you know. Do you like being on camera a lot? Yes, no. In my opinion, I wouldn't say you're that bothered about being too much on camera or not, I would say. But, you know, you might as well use your words, right, straight from the horse's mouth or straight from the sheep's mouth, however you want to word it, okay? What's the next bit? This way it got a little bit more serious. Talking about donations on Earthworm's channel, or it'd be super chats, maybe memberships, PayPal, whatever, right? And Lance was saying how half of the donations went to Ty Corbin for his gas money, right? And I think, yeah, Lance was saying Ty Corbin was receiving $100 per week, which is a fair bit. If you talk about in terms of the amount of money. As for it and how it was being used, gas money, I mean, in a general case, if you heard that, it kind of makes sense, right? Because you get about, depends who's using whose vehicle, you know, you would have seen it in the past, when videos were made, Lance, Ty, with a comma in between, just so you're not misdirected there, they were in the same vehicle, right? I don't know whose vehicle it was through the majority of the videos. You get what I'm saying? Like with the Bag and Bones one, they were both in the same car driving along, okay? But whichever way, because they're living in different areas, whether they're visiting one another, meeting up, in the past, that does not happen now, okay? It's like, I can understand that for the gas money. Like, you think about the Kenny Veach M Cave mystery, right? There was like funds there for people, especially the ones that were travelling longer distance, like DJ Moore. The cost of the fuel, the distance that it took, the equipment, resources, and the camping, etc. Right? Some people did like GoFundMe's or attempted GoFundMe's so they could be able to afford it in some way. Or the alternative was creating T-shirts and tops to be able to fund it, so then they could go back out there in the future. And that's kind of like what Lance has done on his channel with the T-shirts, etc. with searching. Scott Natal did the same thing back with the Kenny Veach M Cave case. Scott Natal started selling like M Cave T-shirts and hats and sticks, but he was called out by Susan Veach, sister-in-law, and the Veach family for doing that and saying Scott Natal is corrupt. But Scott Natal did respond back then saying how what he was wanting to do was sell the items and then whatever money he makes, like, donates it to the Veach family to help them. But then Scott Natal said it didn't work out because no one really bought his items or something. So I don't know what happened to all of the clothing and designs, whether it went to waste or not. Not really heard of that since with Scott Natal. Still not heard anything about the concealed bamboo sword from the Kenny Veach case. I know Scott Natal took it. He said he was going to take it for DNA testing or something, but that didn't seem to happen. So I assume it's still in the hands of Scott Natal. Just seems like shouldn't more be done? I mean, with him being busy and doing other stuff in between, and then also when he does have time exploring, looking for Dylan rounds, he can get sidetracked, right? Kind of like how when I've moved on to other cases as well, and you're not as constant with the previous stuff. But I'll be honest, I was quite surprised in a way that I wasn't that rusty, right? When I did the video last night about Kenny Veach M Cave, all the events and drama that went on throughout time from start to finish almost, I wasn't umming and ahhing too much. I was still kind of sharp on it. It's only because with covering one case at a time, that's like how I do it. I sink myself in, dig in deep, and try and be consistent for a long period of time. By doing that, you think you'd lose track, lose sense of other things you have looked at, but it didn't seem to be the case this time around. Like, when I moved on to the Aidan Clune one briefly for the first time ever, like months ago, I was getting mixed up with the names of Dylan and Aidan, saying the wrong name for the wrong person and event, and it was just because I was so used to talking about Dylan. But I think because I've constantly referred back to Kenny Veach in all of my Dylan Rounds videos almost, I guess, I've never really lost sight of it. So yeah, that's positive, I guess. But yeah, let's just return back to this money situation, okay? So Lance is saying half donations went to Ty Corbin, so Ty could use it on gas money. And then Lance was saying how Ty Corbin said he doesn't collect money. He does it all on his own dime. And then Lance played several clips of Ty saying that on repeat, whether it be on the Shack Lady stream, Jim Terry's stream. I've heard it several times. So it's like, okay, well that's good if that's what Ty is doing. but then it's conflicting with what Lance has supposedly given to Ty, right? I know you could put the spin on and say, well, maybe Lance is just saying that, but then in other people's mindsets, it would be, well, if Lance has physically given Ty money and then Ty is saying he's not receiving anything, then it's like, oh, why are you hiding it? Like, in the eyes of some people, it could be like, is Ty hiding it because he doesn't want to appear like the other YouTubers that might be getting money in some way? He wants to appear better than everyone else and more natural. Could that be it? That he doesn't like the idea of receiving? But then Lance put the spin on it and said, but Ty Corbin was welcoming and happy receiving gifts and cards from people when it came to, I guess, Phyllis or something. I guess it depends how deep and personal people go, because like as we said, families at war in some way or another, that is emerging, and even externally, I guess, with the Jim Terry situation and the police being called. So all kinds of things are going on. Will it ultimately reach a head? And no, Maria, that isn't a prompt for you to start thinking of all kinds of stuff. Will it reach a head, a conclusion? Do we say that now? Just let that settle in for now, and then if I do remember, I'll mention it again after the next few points, because we need to try and come up with another prediction, right? Like a serious prediction, okay? So if Ty's here right now, feel free to share your thoughts about that money situation. Ty Corbin, did you ever receive money from Lance, or is Lance lying? What's your opinion on the matter from your experience? I mean, it depends as well. It could also be down to wording. This is an alternative way of looking at it. You might not be getting paid looking for Dylan, but if you've got to do a bit of travelling in between to park up and then start looking, maybe the payments received maybe in some way for the travelling aspect isn't associated directly with searching for Dylan. Whereas if you was an individual that literally lived in an area, you walked out of the house, went down the road or went down the desert road and started searching, and then you were paid for directly looking for Dylan, then it could be seen like that. You get what I'm saying? I don't know if the actual journey before getting to searching counts, or in people's mindsets, if it counts as receiving payment for searching for Dylan. If it's just the initial part of actually getting to a spot, then to search. Kind of like with Bald Eagle Mountain, driving up to Bald Eagle Mountain, then getting out of the car, whatever it is, and then walking about up and down, going into the mines, if there's any caves. That's the searching part. As for the driving part, that's just driving to the search location, right? So maybe down to language, the driving part doesn't count as being paid for the search. I'm just thinking of alternative language to try and make sense of the situation, okay? Was there anything else? Not really. The next part, and this is tying on kind of like with the receiving stuff. Lance said that Ty Corbin deletes people's comments. I don't know if that's true. I wouldn't know. I personally wouldn't. Ty Corbin, what's your thoughts on this? Do you do that? I mean, for most part of it, at least me, with my channel, I don't delete comments unless it might be going against TOS or it's something very serious, maybe. But for like 99% of the time almost, I'd say, keep the comments up, because it's people sharing their opinions, even if it's negative, and it's also a piece of evidence as well. Like, I can't remember which video it was on now, either one from 2-3 days ago, someone said, my God, this makes me snooze off to sleep. And then I responded back, they were basically implying that my video was very boring, made them tired. But I just simply said, well, at least the positive thing is you know what you can listen to if you ever have trouble sleeping. Just watch my video, hear me talk, and you'll be out in no time. See? It still leads to a positive. You sleep better, you wake up, you got more energy, and you can get on with whatever you need to do. And that was because of watching my video. So there you go. Just like with all the motel food places, you think, well, what's the actual purpose or point of that? Well, aside from looking at key timestamps and alibis of certain suspects within a case, that aside, it at least informs you of places of where to go and where not to go, right? So it does help you indirectly. And as for the whips, well, we don't have to talk too much about that. It's pretty self-explanatory to why there's positives about getting whipped, right? But yeah, the only thing I do remember was seeing a comment previously, it was probably like some months ago on Lance's channel. Some viewer supporter was saying, oh, I gave some socks and some hand knitted clothing or jumper to Ty. I think they received it, but Ty didn't acknowledge and then deleted the comment as if it never happened. I don't know if that happened. Do you know about that, Ty? Is it someone faking it, pretending that they gave you something? I don't know. You know, you're only going to know certain sides of the story or certain amounts. If there's actual evidence provided, that obviously does help, right? And tying on with this like supposed evidence being shown and portrayed against Ty, the next point what Lance mentioned was, Lance said, Ty Corbin tends to lose his temper when out searching, or in the past, I should say, such as with his dog. And then basically what was shown then by Lance was a video, once again, unreleased footage, which is interesting. So you could imply that even back then, when they were somewhat okay, when they were originally searching together, Lance, in the back of his mind, was secretly keeping hold of this footage and documenting this evidence to use down the line. That's kind of interesting, that. You know what I'm saying? Normally, like when you get movies, unreleased footage, they might show it in the director's cut, they might show it in the credits or the after part. And if not, it just, I guess, gets thrown away, deleted. But for Lance to keep hold of this unreleased footage for some time, that does make you think. What's your thoughts on that, Ty? What do you think about that? Because if you think about it, if people have been secretly recorded, whether it be phone conversations, interviews, private ones, in the Dylan Rounds case and community, and you've also got little bits of footage here and there with actual searches with people, and you've kept a hold of it too, isn't it kind of sneaky and sly, maybe? What do you think in the chat? But yeah, returning back to this footage with Ty losing his temper with the dog, I do actually remember the location. I can't remember what it's called, but I think they were in Bald Eagle Mountain looking for mines, mine shafts. It was mainly horizontal openings, and the dog must have went into one of them. So far, Lance was just climbing up, looking about. Ty is calling the dog back, but the dog's not listening. And Ty loses his temper, raises his voice, swears a little bit, saying, come on, come here now, you know, getting a bit angry, but it's not the end of the world, okay, it's not that bad. He doesn't do anything physical to the dog, it's just verbal, okay? But either before saying that or just after, he looked up to Lance and said, you got it turned off, yeah? You got the camera turned off, right? And Lance said, yes. But obviously, he had the camera turned on. So it makes you think, even back then, when they were, you know, searching, Lance had other things going on in his mind. Was he like creating evidence, protecting himself in case it backfired down the line? Did Lance subconsciously feel that there was something wrong, or that there could be tension, so he was just documenting things as he goes along? It just seems like it was kind of planned in some way. Like someone knew something about the other person, so they acted a certain way, but not letting the other person know. You get what I'm saying? The bit about where Ty said, you got the camera turned off, I guess that's just really to do with Ty doesn't want that, I guess, image of him portrayed. And I can back it up with a counterpoint now. Ty has been accused of being like drug dealer. Ty's been accused of maybe murder, you know, makes him look bad, harms his image, his identity. And if it's not true, then, you know, it's not exactly fair. You know, you get accused of this and you've not done it, then maybe your life is destroyed, or people around you will look down at you in a negative way, even though they're blinded by the actual truth, you know? So I can understand why Ty Corbin at times gets a little bit defensive, as I said, because he either cares about his own image to an extent, right? From what's right, what's wrong, what's true and what's false. Or he might get defensive of someone else because he cares about them. So I can understand that. As for this little footage with losing the temper with the dog, although it's nothing groundbreaking, I can understand like maybe Ty could be thinking, oh shit, I kind of lost my temper then. Oh, I shouldn't have swore. I shouldn't have said this or that. I better ask Lance if he recorded it or not, because if he did, I don't want him including it in this whole video search, because then it will make me look bad and it will give other people more ammunition to twist the story and narrative and make Ty look worse than he actually is. Does that make sense? That could be what was going through Ty's mind at the time. He didn't want it included within it. Because, you know, sometimes when you get those like live chats and live streams of other people, they're talking about things, you can take the audio out, you can twist and turn it to make it out of context. So it could seem like they're talking about someone completely different when they're not. I mean, I'll give you an example because, you know, straight to the point, no bullshit. When it came to those like little light-hearted edits of the phone call with me and Pancakes, and Pancakes was saying how, oh yeah, and that guy's fingering her. And it's like, excuse me? But it was meant in other terms and it was directed at somebody else, but I was able to get a hold of the audio and make it sound like Pancakes was talking about Gorilla Jack, you know, getting a bit fiddly with Weedleby. It just fit perfectly, okay? So, obviously, in a more serious case, such as the Dylan Rounds case, with certain individuals like Ty Corbin, if you get a bit of footage or a moment where he says something and it could be taken out of context, it could be twisted and the narrative changes. Something we may see within the Dylan Rounds documentary. You never know, okay? So there's a lot of stuff that can happen. And then you do get the obvious, funny, edited stuff, right? My edits are obviously obvious, okay? But as for the more silly ones, which are probably more funny than mine, such as Starchasm TV, okay? Starchasm's done some interesting edits, I guess, with morphing photos. I think one of them was an edited one of my face. When I saw it, I was like, damn, I didn't know my mouth was that big. You probably could fit a lot in there. Hopefully that doesn't happen, because, you know, I've literally just made an out of context line there when I just said that, so I'm sure that can be edited at some point. My God, dig himself into a hole. But then again, if you're out of context right from the get-go, you're going to confuse the mind, confuse the body, confuse everyone. It's like, well, where are we? What are we doing? What are we saying? No clue. And then it's like the mind is refreshed completely. I think Weedleby does have a video coming out at some point, so we will take a look at that when it's available, right? But yeah, I think that's mainly it for the Lance situation, right? I guess overall you can say Lance mentioned points, all of them negative towards Ty Corbin, accusing him of this and that, and then for some of the points backing it up with footage, which could be interpreted as, yes, it does prove that point, or no, it's just being very petty and trying to suit and shape a certain narrative to make Ty Corbin look bad, okay? That's what I mean, you look at it from both points of views, right? So next time or right now, Ty Corbin, if he hasn't already, can share his thoughts if he needs to, if he wants to set the record straight and whatnot. I mean, what we've got to look at is previously, when it did happen, when Ty no longer associated with Lance, vice versa, that was back then. Sometime now, a couple of months ago, probably September, I think. Nice. How did they act individually? Well, Ty Corbin at the time was like, I don't associate with him. The end. And he didn't get into depth. He didn't explain why. He didn't give his reason. That's fine. Private matter. It's normal. You don't have to start publicly sharing everything online, right? So that's how Ty was. As for Lance, Lance never really mentioned or talked about it at all. He just carried on doing what he was doing. He was saying, yeah, we're moving in different directions, and that was about it. But then I guess with time, with being accused of this and that, whether be Lance was listening in on other channels or not, it got to that point where he decided to make a video, which was this one, what we saw, and the one what we saw before that, him setting the record straight. So Lance doesn't constantly make videos calling people out. Even if some people think he's dodgy or there's something bad going on, Lance tends to just carry on doing what he's doing without getting too much involved with the drama. There might be drama in real life, but as for online, doesn't seem to be that frequent, right? The way it's gone, okay, this whole situation with, the two guys, kind of similar to the Candice Cooley one, right? So when Lance was called out, accused, criticised by Candice Cooley and maybe some other platforms and people, not much was done or said, but then it got to that point where Lance had to publicly address his side of the story, and then he did a live stream. So it's like you push and you push and you push, and then eventually Lance will respond back just to, clear his name, supposedly, and just so people aren't misguided, right? So I can understand that. Yeah, there's not really much more I can say about that. So if we put all that stuff aside, I mean, it's time to cool off now, and let's focus in on Dylan rounds, specifically the discussion, and see where we're at. One thing I just want to make note of very quickly, the person what we've been reading about in these forums called Grandma Bear, okay? Is Grandma Bear Grandma Bunny on YouTube? Is it the same person? That's what I'm just figuring out, because I have seen Grandma Bear appear on my channel at times. Now, to refer back, when Grandma Bear popped up on my channel in the early stages, she was a little bit impetuous. She had a bit of an attitude, but it was resolved. Though, in recent time, she developed an attitude again, saying, "Get your ass out here, boy!" And it's like, well, first of all, it's not exactly practical, is it? And she's like, what did she say? She said, I've been out there searching recently, or I'm currently out here. And I said to her, are you from Montello? They didn't really say yes. I guess they're just visiting in the meantime, looking for Dylan. Okay, fair enough to them for doing that. And then she said, where's y'all ass at, boy? Not literally, but you get me. And I was like, well, I tend to be sat on the bed. Okay, I'm a bed boy detective. And then I said, get your ass down here. I was like, calm down, like, what's with the attitude? I mean, I can understand Maria having an attitude at times, Argentina Española, señorita, nada. Okay? Okay, me encantan bailamos con... Well, fuck, well, I'm not Spanish, so I'm not an expert, am I? But, you know, Maria, with maybe the head shaking, clicking the hand, the earrings shimmering and shaking at the same time as rocking the head like a bobblehead, okay? I don't know, but it works with certain people, right? It works with Maria, but as for Grandma, which I assume is an older person, right? I thought they would have had a bit more better understanding, a bit more reasoning ability, but it's definitely failing in that department. Unfortunate, but oh well, we continue. Also, I don't know if he's here at the moment. He has been recently, and especially last night. Shout out to Awesome Destroyer, right? Awesome Destroyer. I can't remember how old they are. I think they're like 17 or 18. Because they were like saying how they're surprised how they find the case quite interesting, like the Kenny Reach one. I don't know if he's completely into mysteries or stuff, or it's just because he's like thinking, wow, I'm only 17 and yet I'm really focused in on a case. But, you know, it can happen, okay? One of those things. But specifically, shout out to Awesome Destroyer for his presence last night and the super chats back to back. That was good of him. Okay, so just acknowledge that. And yeah, I think we should begin reading, okay? Regina once again says, to clarify, the gate info is from D or J or both. And yes, I'd expect that they'd know better than anybody about Dylan's habits when it came to not closing the gate at the property. As for the circumstances surrounding his personal truck, I agree for the same reason. And speaking of such, I really don't know what to make of any of those circumstances. What I mean is, I really can't decide whether I think those circumstances are suspicious or not. And I think with time, we could agree that things have become a bit more suspicious. Though, let's just try and rewind a little bit, right? It was originally Candice Cooley saying how Dylan would never do this, never do that. He wouldn't lock his vehicle. He wouldn't adjust his seat. He probably wouldn't lock the gate at the grain shed. And because he has on this one occasion, that's what makes it seem very odd. As for the gun that's gone missing as well, Dylan would always leave it in his truck. So because that's not there this time, on this occasion, then it's all very weird and strange. Do you agree with that? Or do you think that the possibility that Candice Cooley doesn't really know Dylan in some way or another, on a personal, deep level, or just down to routine and habits, right? How would Candice Cooley know what's normal and what's not if she's not in the area? How does she know? You know what I'm saying? When you look at it on a basic scale, you could think like that. Really, the only alternative counterpoint would be if Dylan has had discussions with Candice Cooley in the past, whether it be to do with eating and leaving food on the side, making something, getting easily distracted, like with the phone calls, because it was a shared experience, that hearing Dylan, hearing him say, oh, gotta go, gotta get on, oh, just quick call him. That, yeah, you'd understand. So really, Dylan probably would have had to have told Candice that, oh yeah, I never adjust my seat. And in an indirect conversation, oh, my four-wheel drive broke, so can't be using that anymore. So like certain like indirect pointers, events, raising awareness on something, and then Candice Cooley like pieces it all together with her memory and thinks, oh, well, Dylan told me in the past that his all-wheel drive was broke, but it's been turned on now. And obviously Dylan would know about that back then, so why would he make an attempt to turn it on now? Well, that can't be him. It must be someone else. And then maybe she started piecing it together with other things like the chair being adjusted, and then maybe the door being locked, right? So maybe she knows some stuff about Dylan, but not everything, though she pieced it together and assumed it was all by a different person, maybe. Bit where it says, to clarify the gate, D or J or both said yes, and yes. D or J? Who's D or J? J, Justin. D, what, Don? When they do these like little initials, it's very messy, right? Yeah. Let's move on. Regina responds onwards and says, I take it that the grain truck was at his farm, and so if he drove it to that other property, the grain shed, he'd have to walk back. Yes. By the way, it makes sense to me that he may have been planting on that Friday, which would be a good reason that nobody heard from him until the next morning. Yeah, I'd say so. We'll do a poll right now, okay? Do it more so, just in case people have changed their minds with time, there's any new people coming in now. Do you think that when Dylan, whether it be successful or not, when parking his grain truck in the grain shed, after that was done, providing he was still alive under that condition, do you think Dylan made his way back to his farm and then later was taken out, maybe back at the grain shed? Or do you think Dylan never even had the opportunity after parking the grain truck in the grain shed to actually walk back home because he was already taken out in the grain shed, let alone, even if he didn't manage to park the grain truck in the shed, he was just taken out right there on the spot? What are your thoughts on the matter? And the reason why I say that is because still with that phone ping situation, right, it occurred in the order of phone ping at the gate, 6:51, phone call made by Dylan, right? Second phone ping was at the grain shed, so you'd assume parking the truck in the shed, right? Third phone ping back at Dylan's farm. Fourth phone ping was back at Brenner's trailer or nearby. You get what I'm saying? I mean, in my mindset, with what Candice Cooley has said, I mean, I would say let's do another poll now, but it's too soon. If you want my actual opinion, my own thoughts of what happened on the 28th, like a short updated video map analysis, type number 1 in the chat down below right now. Type number 1 if you'd like to see an updated, opinionated video on what happened on the 28th and the order of the phone pings, because I've kind of adjusted my way of thinking now, okay? So just let me know. What else was there? Carry on. Grandma says, I had the same thoughts of blisters, wet feet, a wounded foot, boots rubbing and hurting, but then I turn around and think, yes, but he is missing, and the boots bring more ominous thoughts. I don't think it likely, but I guess we haven't thought about possible natural or accidental causes. Could he have gotten lost on his walk back? Could he have been bitten by a snake and the boots came off for that reason? And then he wandered injured and succumbed and they just haven't found him yet? I mean, the idea of like an accident, you never know. We have portrayed it in a sense that maybe Brenner accidentally hurt Dylan in some way. That was one way of looking at it, when maybe parking the grain truck hit Dylan. But because of the blood being found in the grain shed, anything that did happen, accidental or not, most likely happened in there, right? And I don't think it was like he was injured outside of the shed elsewhere and then walked into the shed and then succumbed and fell down. I think it all happened within, and it has been talked about several times now, that idea. I mean, there's probably snakes out there. I don't know how many types of snakes or how many exactly, but, you know, if any of you have been searching out there, whether Ty Corbin is still present in the chat, or Ellen Berg, or maybe Weezer or some of the locals, have you seen any snakes in the area? Are they very deadly, dangerous? Yes, no? I've heard that there's coyotes out there. I've not really heard too much about the mountain lions, but I guess they are more in the Nevada area, but maybe somewhere in Lucin they might pop in. You know, that's so stupid the way I said that then. But you never know. Is there anything I need to counter here? The bit, could he have got lost on the way back when walking? I highly doubt that, right? Unless it was very hot, Dylan was very dehydrated, he wasn't exactly thinking straight, he was fatigued, he ended up walking in the wrong direction. But because the blood was in the grain shed, he would have had to have either got hurt there and then walked off somewhere or walk back to that place, and I don't think that would have happened. Okay. Says, don't get me wrong, I rarely believe in accidental disappearances unless children, but I guess since the answers just aren't here, yet in this one it isn't necessarily far-fetched. When one thinks about it, there really aren't any signs of foul play for sure, are there? Odd things to the parents, yes. Gate not closed, seat 2 pushed forward, truck the parents suspect was power washed, but only Dylan is missing alone with his gun, phone and keys. They'll very likely be with him, of course. Well, Dylan's gun likely taken by someone, the keys too, but they were returned back, right, as you'll know. As for the phone, that was not on Dylan, because eventually it was found dumped in Lucin Pond, and in recent time, the way Ty Corbin has worded it, when the police were there, when Ty was there and some others, they did find the phone last minute. I think it was on the west side, and it was like in the corner, and it's like they just magically pulled it out as if it was just planted there by someone to shift the blame onto someone like Chase Venstra. That's what Ty Corbin was like thinking, and if that's the case, then it's likely Brenner purposely put it there to then try and put the blame on Chase. And that could also reinforce to why Brenner, fast forward on, the phone call from prison to Justin Rounds, father of Dylan, was shifting the focus onto Chase, saying, yeah, you got to look into him, you got to, check about and measure the distance from down the road. Like a plan of shifting the blame onto others. But isn't it interesting how Brenner is trying to pin the blame on someone like Chase Venstra when Chase Venstra supposedly has an alibi on the day, and the fact that has Brenner showed any aggression, anger towards Don Hately? Because Don Hately technically is the real reason why Brenner is locked up. I know you got that 2021 outstanding warrant which dragged on, right? But this is to do with gun charges, right? The gun charges, and it was Don that surrendered that gun and did an interview with the FBI about Brenner. So why isn't Brenner angry with Don? Is it weird to you? Like, what do you think? How do we do this next poll? Hopefully it's not too close together. Based off from what we've heard, and at least what I've heard of, is it normal that Brenner is trying to shift the blame onto Chase Venstra, yet no blame, focus, anger is directed at Don, the guy who put Brenner in jail in the first place? Is that normal? Like, what's going on there? Anything else? How much did I read? Odd things that depends. Yes, gate not closed. Seat. Yep. Maybe nothing makes sense and there are no answers because there is no crime. Could he have been out of it or under the influence of something, ditched his boots and wandered off? Under the influence of what drugs? Well, not from what I know of. Maybe some people have put that theory, that idea forwards. I guess what you could argue is, or question, where is the nearest meth lab? Where is the nearest drug dealing spot? Where's the nearest underground bunker or some kind of farm for farming drugs? You know, if it's very nearby, maybe. If it's far away, then I'm sure Dylan's too focused on his actual farm work. I mean, I guess the only thing you could say is maybe in the past, if Dylan was custom farming elsewhere, he might have been in the presence of people under the influence. Or maybe Dylan did accidentally stumble across something he wasn't supposed to see at a custom farming place. You never know. Not that anything bad happened to him then, but maybe it intrigued him later down the line and somehow something went wrong. I don't know. What do we have here? She who must not be named says, this was the only 100 yards from his grain truck. He would not have been lost there. He could have literally seen where to go. Also, it is in the opposite direction of the way he would have taken to walk back to his trailer. If this was a mile out and in the proper direction, then sure, but it's just not. Grandma says, wow, Grandma with the long comments, my, mamma mia. Says, I know he wasn't lost where the boots were, but I was thinking more if he took off his boots or had to and then had to keep walking home and could not have gotten lost after that, etc. Along the 5 miles or whatever, but I did not realise it was the opposite direction of his trailer, so that does change that thought. But still, could he be out there somewhere for some reason he just got lost or wandered? I'm just trying to come up with maybe alternative scenarios, which actually is unusual for me, lol. As you know, I genuinely don't think of something as accidental and I generally believe there is foul play. I just realised today, though, that there really isn't a single thing indicating any foul play, is there? The boots with some blood droplet on it. A little bit odd, don't you think? Not definitively. Anyhow, now I hate to say that since I do think there is a perpetrator and he could walk or stay free because there seems to be nothing to indicate a thing. There really isn't. Okay? LE may, of course, know more, have more, and know it is foul play, but we sure don't have anything that really shows that once I thought about it. That struck me just now. In fact, it just hit me now that the only thing we know about Dylan and / or his state of mind, ways, etc. is from his parents. Well, yeah, what have friends said? And has Grandpa spoken? I know Grandma has. They, the family, say how he was, how into farming, how excited, how responsible, etc. And I believe them, don't get me wrong, and feel for them deeply. I have it all along, but it is just dawning on me that they say that do we have independent corroboration of his ways, habits, routines, mood? Was anything wrong recently? Was there a relationship he was in of any kind, etc.? We do it in minor child cases, so who last saw the child independently, for instance? We don't just take the parent's word. And again, I certainly don't mean anything by that at the parents. I simply am starting to wonder if something else just possibly could have happened here. Could he simply have gone off, gotten lost, etc.? Was he happy and nothing was wrong? Otherwise, is it possible he was hanging with a crowd or doing things maybe the parents aren't aware of? All children, or most children, do hide some things from their folks. Okay. There was a lot of talking there, right? You talk too much. But yeah. How would I word it, at least? I mean, you could say the pattern from maybe quite a few of my videos or responses was worded as from what Candice Cooley says. Candice Cooley said this, whereas Candice Cooley said that. There's a lot of that reference, but there's a reason for reference points so you know who's actually saying it. There have been independent people that have come out and said this and that, supposedly, but they've been questioned as fakes or fake call-ins, fake people, so you can't really listen to that either. So really, you could get to that extreme and say, well, we're not really left with anything, so we can't believe in anything. You know what I'm saying? It can get a little bit messy, right? Like that example of Jim Terry contacting that Paramount producer or something, and the producer executive confirming that Dylan's in a gay relationship with Kurt Wadsworth, but then everybody else in the community, or quite a lot of people, saying, nope, load of rubbish, BS, fake call, fake person, how would he know? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And it's just completely burned out and, denied, rejected. And the same's happened as well with others. Really, the people you could actually listen to could be someone like Weezer, right? Weezer hasn't said too much deep stuff about Dylan because genuinely she said she didn't really know him properly. He would appear in and out. He'd chit chat, but wasn't deep into conversation and really focused more hanging around maybe like Kurt Wadsworth because of sharing the same thoughts, dislikes, mentality, something like that, interest, right? And it just seems more genuine. Weezer isn't trying to say that Dylan is this or that, in a negative way or in a witch hunt style. She's just telling her recollection of stories and encounters, sightings of Dylan in the past. It might not solve the case, but in a way, the way this case has gone, it's actually a positive. And you might be like, what the hell are you on about, Raf? Well, I can explain it. If you can get different people coming in, whether it be a friend, whether it be a local, someone that met Dylan at some point in the past, they tell the story. It could be deep, it could be rich with data, who knows? But it doesn't solve the case, but it doesn't cause any confusion. It's just simply saying what happened. So you could say something like, oh yeah, I remember in 2020, I saw Dylan eating a sandwich by himself. He didn't really make eye contact with anyone or talk with people. You hear that and you think, okay, that doesn't help explain where Dylan is at right now. And it's like, well, true, yeah. But it's just simply telling a story from the past, right? Learning a little bit more about Dylan in some way or another as a whole collective piece of all those little stories shared by different people. Genuine little stories. You could maybe piece it all together as a timeline eventually. Whereas the contrast is when people have come in with stories like on other channels directed at trying to find Dylan or find the person responsible, it tends to be supposedly more relevant and up to date. And you'd say, well, isn't it better hearing that than someone looking back nostalgic and thinking, oh, I remember when Dylan did this, I remember when Dylan did that. It's more hard hitting, right? It's more successful, right? Wrong. It's not. All it's done, these supposed people coming on in, saying this happened, that happened, Dylan was here, Dylan was there, that person was here and there, post or before Dylan's disappearance, it's just led to rumours, BS, confusion, switching and changing, not set in stone, a mess, right? It's been dislodged, right? It's like taking Stoney away from a waterfall and then all the water comes gushing down, Linda gushing, can't control herself. Not good, okay? Whereas someone like Weezer and maybe some other people, maybe like Ellen, just leave a little comment here and there about Dylan, past stuff, and it's like, oh, okay, interesting. It might not solve the case, but it doesn't cause any additional confusion. That's what I mean by at this state, at this rate in the case, this moment in time, hearing a story from the past is less damaging than hearing a rumour directed as a means or an attempt to try and solve the case, which doesn't. It was kind of dragged out explaining that, but I think I managed, okay? Well, it's just trying to think outside of the box. Am I just realising all put me and most of us in a certain direction for, and of course, very questionable things like truck. All right, I'm going to stop reading that. blah, blah, blah. Guess who? Stuck on the fence here too. Not sure what happened at all. Oh, for fuck's sake, not again. Right, I will read through this quicker because it's boring me, these really long comments. So had he driven the grain truck into town and got in the grain seed, I guess? I mean, or am I wondering he'd be running around in that truck otherwise rather than the personal vehicle truck? Heck, we all know the price of gas right now too adds up fast. Supposedly in Montello it's quite expensive from the reviews on Google Maps. Okay. If the grain truck is the one I think I noted in a video on this case, it is a huge as compared to a personal vehicle, so I guess it fills up more, costs more to run. And then he is a conscientious farmer per people, and I don't dispute that, and I'm not questioning family, but he told grandma he had to get the grain and protect it under the cover. And that point, he told her that there was a rush by him, I would guess, in a way, as he had to go and would call her back. Well, there was supposed to be rain that morning already, and he hadn't already put it in the protected ahead of time. Okay, that's actually a good point made by her for once, okay? Because we did see that in a previous page where it rained earlier on in the morning, supposedly, from what I've seen for the first time. And it's like, well, Dylan's asleep, grain truck's already getting wet, the seeds too, so isn't it already spoilt, ruined? You know what I'm saying? Unless someone can clarify it and say, well, actually, it rained much later on in the day, or it only rained on Sunday and not Saturday, that would be helpful too if you could clear that up, but I've not really heard it mentioned much elsewhere, okay? She says, wouldn't your house it / cover it when you got it? Did he oversleep, not get home on time, etc.? That he had to rush off to do it and tell grandma he had to go and would have had to call her later? Wouldn't the bit of rain they had by the time have affected it? Yeah. What I mean is, did he had to go to town with the grain truck to get the grain, and then when he got back, he took it to his personal trailer instead of just putting it inside then? He had the grain truck for no reason at the trailer. Was there rain in the forecast for the early morning? I wouldn't doubt it, so why would not the house truck the night before, etc.? It isn't a personal vehicle anyone likely is running around on, or why wasn't he already up getting to the shelter as it was to rain, or already had rained when he talked to grandma? He hadn't said why he was rushing, grandma. Sorry, you wonder why I'm talking fast? It's because there's not too much groundbreaking stuff here, okay? So I'm saving you time as well. Oh my God, I'm getting punished. There's even more. Had he just got back from the town, maybe and stayed overnight, there was so grain he got home under the night before. No, it wasn't even home to train, nor was it himself, or he could have come home by the night before the night the grain shed truck had overslept. I might have it wrong, but there may be a new factor inside, but but he hadn't seen any of these thoughts and occurring to me just now. And also just crossed my mind where I sit right now, the next town near is 6 miles away, so he did not go to walk 5 across the desert. Why, seriously? He is a farmer in heavy wear boots, not a hiker. I mean, is there no other way he could have helped to hide the farmers or even a friend anywhere in the area to run him back? I mean, some people like excuse, but the 5 miles across the desert, busy farmer, and was that typical? I mean, very low population already, like 3-4 people in Lucin, so not really many could give him a ride back. Ivor Zadowski didn't really know of Dylan. Dylan probably didn't know Ivor. And Ivor really had a plane, so I'm not really going to fly him back. As for Brenner probably couldn't be bothered, lazy, doesn't really like Dylan too much at times, so that's probably that. Don Hately, well, they kind of parted ways, I guess. They weren't talking since, so there's that, even though they live in like the same area, just no like meeting up or talking to one another, right? What's this? Guess who says, yeah, I'm not seeing any reason why he would voluntarily walk between the two places at all. I grew up in farm country, surrounded by nothing but farmers. I found that very odd. Yep, and all them would either have a vehicle or 4-wheel, etc. If they need to leave any equipment elsewhere or call hired help, they might have. Grandma says, exactly. Even tractors. I ended up at various times and places yesterday behind 3 tractors, each one time. 2 to 3 left their own driveway and then pulled right into the next driveway. Well, not even miles away. I noticed as I was hoping I would not be behind them for long. I was past them. One I did have to pass. Whatever. Regina says, well, if he owns the grain truck, yeah, I expect he did. His mother said he'd purchased the seed in Idaho, but didn't say where or when, from what I've found. The nearest seed store is almost a 3-hour drive one away. Well, yeah, I think I heard it about Idaho. Wouldn't surprise me. What I would say is when Dylan got the seed, and you can, give your thoughts as well, previous. Do you think when Dylan got the seed, the bags and stuff, what vehicle did he take to get down to Idaho, supposedly then? Do you think he used his pickup truck and then put all the bags, grains in the back of the truck, back seat? Or do you think he took the grain truck, literally filled it up when he was there and drove it all the way back? What's your thoughts on that? Grandma says, I thought maybe it was purchased on a recent trip to Montello, but that's Nevada, not Idaho. Wow, I'd hope he could get seed closer than that. There's probably some seed mill or dealer that doesn't show up online, maybe. Sounds dodgy that the way they worded that. Probably because it's not an area known for growing grains, so no one for closer. He might be doing something that he was told couldn't be done out there. Yeah. What was his one? Yeah. I guess he could have purchased it from a farmer, but heck, if I knew anything about how farmers go about their business before looking into this case, and it's always unanticipated what all I end up learning about when I dive deep into these cases. Now, I don't know if I go about it the way others do, but I usually find myself exploring and studying all sorts of things I'd never even thought about nor imagined. By the way, just for your information, per the mother who said it was irrelevant, which is true, but still, I was interested to know, the seed he was using is called Triticle. Spring Triticle seed for sale. Cool season forages, Melbourne seeds. I have actually heard of Triticle, okay? The first time I heard about it was the hashtag Triticle on Dylan Round's TikTok page, okay? And I think that might have been on the Pivot video. It was hashtag Pivot, hashtag Triticle. So that kind of explains that, and it reminds me as well. Oh, here we go. Grandma says, true, but there's a good chance too there are a few local feed mills, grain suppliers that just aren't online presence. We still have a few like that. Most gave it up years ago, went under in small towns, but a few still exist. I know through the years, even motels, hotels are surprising online. You search a town and think you have the entire list of motels, and you're disappointed thinking a small town has none or little to choose from. And you get to the town and find they darn well do, but it doesn't even show up in a general directory search of hotel, motel in that town. It's possibly true that, but then again, well, actually, yeah. Well, it's kind of yes and no. With Montello has a little motel. Kind of surprising to some people, maybe. You type it in, it doesn't directly come up, but it goes to the gas station. And when you start flicking through the images of Montello in the gas station, whether it be directly that building or a building nearby, there's at least one spare room people can stay in. I don't know how much it cost, but people have complained saying there's only one toilet in the area, so it's a bit problematic. Okay. Now, as for other stuff, what would be a good example? I mean, when I've been looking at places, whether it be the motels, maybe the bars, cafes, restaurants, whatever, there's been times where nothing shows up, no results, nothing in the area. And then if you do a street view, you start looking around, you think, oh, well, that's named that's named this, but it doesn't seem to exist on the actual map area. And a more relevant one, I guess, or one that kind of links to the Dylan Round's case, as for the discussions, would be the Area 52 bar, I think, ran by Annie, a place where, like, Brenner, I think Chase, Don, those sort of people went down to at some point in the past, hung out, and that's in Montello, Nevada somewhere. Quinton will know. I think it was probably mentioned briefly on the timeline as well, the spreadsheet as well. But basically, when I was supposed to have a look at it, and then discuss it, how it applies within the case, that it needs investigating, people need interviewing who work down there. When I tried to search and get on the maps, it just wouldn't come up. It just didn't exist. Tried all different types of names and it just wouldn't show. But supposedly it is there. Maybe because it's not official, maybe because it's not been registered online or something. You know, I'm sure Chat Lady probably can explain why it's not showing up. But, you know, it can happen. Oh, what's this? Regina says, I recently came across the following news story where people are working together to build what they refer to as an agricultural co-op in the same West Utah desert. Getting off the grid, cooperative community takes a root in Utah. Never heard of that. Interesting. Have any of you seen this before? This video? Have any of you heard about the cooperative community? I mean, you got some like crates there, probably filled with water. You got a white RV in the background. You got some tents, fencing. The county is south of Dillon's farm. Okay. There you go. Juab County, Utah. Interesting. Juab, Utah. Guess who says, that I agree with. Where my parents lived, there are so few things that are online, mostly because it's so rural that many do not have internet or are too old school to think of getting an online presence. Okay. Regina says, does anyone suspect that the dirt pile and boots were dumped there at the same time? Interesting question, interesting point. From my knowledge, the dirt mound has been there for some time. It was originally a burning pit in the past, but they had to fill it in, cover it up for reasons, getting in trouble or something, and it remained like that for a while. It has been talked about, it's been searched, the mound, but we went through that phase, right? You remember the phase where supposedly it was searched, but it wasn't, but it was, but it wasn't, and then Lance later on said it has. I mean, Ty Corbin, if you're here, has the dirt mound been searched successfully near the Grangeshed property, the pole barn, to you? Has it or not? Be interesting to know. And finally, says no clue. Dirt piles on a farm are not uncommon at all. Yeah, okay. So, there we go. Right, so now what we need to address is the important issue concerning, I guess, certain viewers on my channel, more to do so with the consistent long-time viewers. Now, some people continue, others have said themselves that they seem to find the chat a bit too much at times, or at least in recent time, like with the drama, the complaining, the insults, supposedly the amount of rats showing up left, right and centre, and then the other people pissing about, causing trouble and stuff. It takes it away from the seriousness of the video, or they find it hard to focus on what I'm saying, so they're either not watching anymore, they've stepped away, they've stepped back, or they're just keeping away from the chat. Well, my response to that is, I understand why they're doing what they're doing. It makes sense, first of all. Secondly, or insignificant importance, it's a shame that's what it's come down to, but once again, it makes sense. My advice is the people that are in chat right now or in the background, if you genuinely want to participate in the live chat because it's something you've always done before the other people came in, let's say, and you enjoyed it, you enjoyed talking to the other people and it was nice and good, but it's been taken away that now, what I would say is manually, individually block the people that annoy you, right? Because if I started blocking people, it will screw everything up and it'll screw people over. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to suddenly change, okay? But I know people like the long-time viewers will already understand that, but I just wanted to clear things up. I know alternatives such as adding a mod could help, but then again, it's literally like passing the chain of command onto someone else to then happy click and block everyone, and that does no good either, okay? As for my own experience with just about all of the people in the chat most of the time, there's no issues, there's no problems. People, or like the way I see people, majority of the people in the chat are good, and I'm lucky to have come across them. Okay. It is like points where it all goes to shit, because when I tend to be positive, very quickly something goes wrong. Just like when I was saying positive stuff about the community last time, and then Mr. X showed later and then started whinging and whining. That went downhill quick. Like, if something like that happened, I still wouldn't block them because they are a known individual and there needs to be evidence so people can see who is who and what's being said, okay, as you know. But it's more practical if a viewer blocks someone than if I was to. If I blocked someone, no one can see that person ever again in the chat, in the comment section, unless they create a new account, okay? You get the idea of the level of control certain people have, right? I don't do that. Unless someone's going against like TOS or really causing some issues, then it might be dealt with there. But 99% of the time, as said, just leave it open. If you want to be dodgy, be dodgy. If you want to talk about the case itself, make sure to do so because it's the right place to talk about it, okay? If you need to defend yourself, if you need to respond to a question or a statement made in like my video, whether it be by me or most of the time by someone else, you can clear your name here if you want to. So that applies to the likes of Corbin if he feels the need to. Just wanted to address that so there's no misunderstandings there. But linking back, if a viewer blocks someone in the chat, what that means is they will no longer see that person annoying them. So that's taken out of the equation. And all you'll be left with as the viewer is all the people you get on well with, right? Obviously, the other viewers can still see what that one individual's saying, but it's not going to be as direct as it. It won't be as annoying, okay? Because like one thing is, like whether it be people that have been quite supportive on the channel, like with the super chats, it's very good of people to do that. Or if it's just simply down to people consistently watching, which, you know, a certain amount of people have done, which is quite impressive and good at the same time, they shouldn't be screwed over, if you know what I'm saying. So if there are ways around it to prevent them being impacted negatively, then that can be done. And as said, one of the key methods is block a person that annoys you, but do it yourself. So then it doesn't impact everyone else, if that makes sense. So you benefit, you don't see the annoying resistance anymore, and on top of that, you can still carry on chatting with the other people. Because obviously the talk of, let's be all positive, let's all hold hands, let's forget all the negativity, just don't think about it. Sometimes it's not always that possible. If you can literally isolate yourself from someone or block them out, which is doable in the live chat, then it can be done and it's case closed. And I'll say one more other thing, which is a big positive here. You've got the chance, you've got the power, okay? If you think about it, when it comes to other live streams, live interviews, live call-ins, live panels, the way they do it is out of your control. So whilst you are watching as the audience in the background, in the live chat box, whichever way, you'll be communicating with the people in the chat, kind of like here, but you're also listening in on the people appearing in that live interview, the live panel, and they can also see some of your responses too. So if you take into mind the situation of, let's say you came across someone, let's say in this live premiere right now, and they were being annoying to you. Whereas here, you can block them yourself, and then you're no longer annoyed. if that was like replicated on a live panel call-in and that annoying person was in the live panel, they're verbally speaking and not text-based. Can you block them? No. You would have to ask permission for the host, the channel owner, to boot, to kick, to mute that other annoying person in that call-in. And maybe 9 times out of 10, that host isn't going to do that. So you've not got the power. You got to listen to the resistance. You can't escape it. You can mute the video, but if you mute the video, then you mute the other people talking and you miss out on all the information. You're fucked. You're screwed. There's no running. You can't escape. You don't have power. And yet here, because it's in a live video premiere, there's no yapping going on verbally, but there might be text base in the chat. But you can eliminate that yourself. Cleanse, filter out if you wish to, right? I know most people have got a good sense of humour here, which is good. I know quite a few people can take this and take that or whatever, but at times maybe it might get too much for some people. But without me having to be some kind of SJW do-gooder, which I'm not, you do what needs to be done and it doesn't impact anyone else. It just makes it better for your own self and experience. Because as I said, when I do these videos, I'm doing it in a balanced way. I'm not saying this in a brainwashing way. I can't say it myself because then it would seem like I'm digging myself into a hole. But like when people talk about gaslighting on other channels, maybe panels, maybe it doesn't occur here. And the reason why I say maybe, because if I said it doesn't whatsoever, then technically I'm kind of like, you know, being a hypocrite. So it's up for the people to who watch to infer whether good or bad, right? But I guess with covering different points of views, you can hit from all angles. And I know when the videos get quite deep, you need focus, you need to be able to zone in, and sometimes you might not be able to. But I said there are ways around it in which you can still participate in the chat and still have fun. So I think that sorts it out. Hopefully people were able to listen to that and understand what I meant by it. If you're still confused, feel free to leave a comment down below. And yeah, but no, we're not done yet. No, do not run away. And that goes for you, Maria. Stay right there. Okay. What we need to do now is check out maybe 1 or 2 places on Google Earth before we go. Why not? Utah. It's all about Utah. Oh, I've gone a bit off center. There we go. Back here once again. I wonder what we're going to be looking at today. Yeah. Well, if there's any squabbling in the chat, I'm sure we can ease that too. I don't know how she would quite conduct it, but in the voice of the shack lady whilst chewing on some food, it'll be like, let me talk, second plant, Maria should just shut the fuck up, man. My God. Let me talk. We're not all about fucking dealing sexuality. Everyone's got different preferences, you know. Some people come out the closet later. Some people come out of the rubber jam. I know what I'm talking about, man. We're doing it. See? It clears rooms. Silence is omitted, right? What do we type in? How about this? What will come up? The University of Utah. Whoa. Whoa, we're going deep there, man. Hold on. Okay, so here we go. Mr. X. Oh, I see. Mr. X Pizza. My God. Yeah, we're doing a full circle. You thought Chase Venstra was going to Little Caesars Pizza. Wouldn't be surprised if we made a little trip down to Mr. X Pizza. Yeah, come on. But I've got to say one thing very quickly. Whilst we've got this pizza chain place, how does Mr. X consume a pizza? Where's the mouth hole? I've not seen it. But anyway, what do we have in here? What does that say? I don't know. Okay, so it looks very quiet. The chairs look rickety. The tables too. My God. There's a fucking lawn chair outside as well. Across a graveyard. Oh, no. This explains it. This explains why Mr. X was able to do multiple things at once. So when Mr. X was filming that high-quality Hollywood cinematic-esque trailer and intro for Jim Terry TV channel, Jim Terry TV2, yeah, we're hiring Philippine actress to narrate our talk. Yeah, long time no see. But no, aside from that, there's a graveyard over there. That's probably where they did the recording, where they were burning the graves down with the stick of dynamite. Oh yes, multitasking all at once. It explains everything now. Yeah, unless it's for reasons you go to Mr. X pizza place and you leave in a coffin because you're choking on the pizza because it's that fucking bad. God, I bet the pizza's so raw, it turns the people in the graves the opposite way round, bent over backwards. What the hell's this? Oh, yeah. I'm liking this pattern. I'm liking this pattern already, man. It's all about confusing the mind. Bloody Stony wanting some kind of infantry check on how you do psychological warfare. Oh my God, how do you master the art of confusing people and dealing with resistance and raising above the hate, raising above all the high stones and loose stones falling above your head? Rock climbing helmet, man. No, instead we go to a pizza place and instead they're serving salad. Useless. What is that? Oh my God, no pizza is in sight and yet it's called a pizza place. Yeah, we got a big dip pick. Wow, what a big dip that is. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, a bit jealous, Wes. Let's see. Once again, it's completely dead and empty. Not that popular. Oh no, that TV screen looks like the bloody flat screen TV Samsung from Dylan Round's trailer. Oh, God! My God, you cannot keep anything on site. It's all taken away. Come on, man. That's not right. The fucking Samsung. What we got there? Lovely. Oh, yes, the red, the color of the red. It resembles a Lucy. Who's a Lucy? Fucking hell, Mamma Mia, Maria. You should understand who Lucifer is, Come on. We got a menu, it's sideways. Very useful, that. Oh my God! Look at that pizza! Look at the size of it, the surface area. My God! It's almost big enough to cover Wheatleby up like in a blanket. God! That's amazing. Come on. Let's not be too surprised, man. I mean, we're dealing with Mr. X, who measures in at over 9 inches. Never under that number. And the pizza demonstrates it as well. The circumference is good. The girth is reasonable. So I'm sure the kitty cats are feeling very hungry right now. Yeah? Come on, get your claws around the pizza. I mean, there's not many toppings on it. I think they've been taken away. Like, oh, God. But big pizza. True. Oh, there we go. We got another big pizza as well. Yeah. Oh, he's already taken some away. Man, he's hungry. Are those olives? Ew. Oh my God. Are the olives going to go on your ew list, Maria? Yeah, endless list of ews and do's. Oh, yeah. Come on, Mr. X. Do your room tour. Is this your backdrop when you don't have the background and artwork showing? Fucking cupboards and wood? Yeah. My God, it looks almost similar to Ellensburg Services, what we looked at last time. Oh, yeah, handyman with his ladder nearby. It's not even finished. Got even orange bucket down there, probably his little trickle-treating bucket with his little sweeties. God. Oh, this is brilliant, man. Oh, yeah. What? Wait, it's gone... Hold on. Is this still the same place we're looking at? It looks like it's suddenly transformed into a dark nightclub. My God! Look at the table! It's been scratched away! All kinds of action has appeared on there. My God, Stoney! I know you're kind of like a diamond in the rough limestone, but God, how much grinding have you done on the side of that countertop? God! It's seen better days. Huh. I wouldn't be surprised if Joseph and his endless list of boy band came along, decided to all perch themselves on the table as well. Come on, have some decency, man. You could at least take it in turns instead of all at once. It's like a fucking party animal bus. What do you think this is? Free rides? No, there's a price to pay, and it's got your backside written on it. Yeah, time to open up. The FBI is coming in, plowing on with their door bashers. Don't even know what you call them, battling rams. That's it. Thank you. Wow. What does that say? Antibacteria wipes. Weedleby. Okay, I know sometimes you talk a load of shit, but come on. You could wipe up afterwards. I'm only joking there. It was quite a good line, that I'd admit. But no, Weedlebee's okay. My God, there's a lot of receipts. Yeah, these receipts are probably from Just Robbie. Yeah, just like Just Eat, but Just Robbie is on the prowl with all his delivery drop-offs. Get all the receipts. Oh my God, probably Betty Hayward's got some receipts as well and all those edits. Gonna collect them all together. My God, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the fucking depiction of the LE and handling of the case. Some kind of subliminal, bombastic thing. I don't know what I'm saying, man. Just all piece of evidence all over the place. Just a mess. There's some juice there. Come on. This is the most action we've had. What the hell's this? Yo, this is neighborhood. I'll meet you out in the back. Where's the dog at? Where's the dog? Well, the gate's not open, so no one's let the dog out. It must be hanging around the back. King Salmon, get your ass around here, boy. I hope you saw my reply in the last video. If not, well, that's shame on you, boy. Come on, dog. Don't run away from me. Yeah, I noticed another thing as well. What's his name called? CSEA, and then something else. The guy that recently subscribed. Shout out to him. Seagate. He might be called Seagate. His profile picture is of like a little dog. So yeah, we're bringing the dogs in. Okay, we've got the kitty cats, but we've got some dogs. Got some manpower. What am I saying? Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Are you trying to give me a seizure? Some kind of OCD relapse? What the fuck is that? Why are you taking a slice like that? My God. I know you said you got to confuse the mind, but I didn't say give me a fucking stroke. No, Maria. No time for stroking. I'm having some issues right now. I think fucking Stoney needs to get a stethoscope out, get the CPR going, because I have lost my mind. Who the hell cuts a pizza up like that and takes it away to eat? It's the fucking crust. You'll end up like fucking Graham with no teeth. And like, I wouldn't be surprised if fucking Shack Lady decided to take the pizza out. It's like, all right, guys. Take a second. I'm an expert man. Just beat down teeth. Calm down, Shack Lady. Calm down. Let's move on. What's going on here? A bit of a messy pizza, that, I'll be honest. Coca-Cola. I'll be chilling with the girls with the Coca-Cola. Yeah. Coca-Cola. Holler. Girls. It's time. No, it's time for Starbucks. Give me a little bitch, please. Okay. Don't really like that pizza. It's a bit too gooey and a bit too much. What the hell's that back there? Sorry, girls. This is my endless key fob. I have so many keys and spare keys. Yeah. I want to look really trendy. I want to be a bitch boss. Yeah. Be walking around with all my keys dangling like I own the place. But you know what? All these keys are keys to the bedroom of all my ex-boyfriends. Yeah, I'm such a naughty girl. I'm such a whore. Yeah, call me a bitch. Come on, I dare you. Fucking call me a bitch right now. Fucking bring it on, boy. Come on. We're on a roll right now. What have we got here? Oh, yeah. We got the Colosseums of Rome. Emperor Raph is going to make his appearance shortly. Be chucked into the lion's den. Be thinking, what's gone on? Fucking Caesar has been stabbed in the back. He's going to be turned into a Caesar salad by the time he's torn apart by the lions. Oh my God, never knew that betrayal would happen. And even says thank you as well. No thank you. Not at all. At least that table looks a bit better. But my God, that paintwork is shocking. Oh, we got some juicy bottles as well. Perfect. Oh, no! What are we dealing with here? Oh, Joseph, you're a very lucky boy tonight. Not only do you have a long baguette, but you, Joseph, have a deep-filled baguette. There's a lot more packing within. Yes. And not only do you get a dip pick, Joseph, but you get 2 dip picks. You're very lucky. And I hope to God, Joseph, that you are here right now. Because if not, you are seriously missing out and you are denying yourself of a key opportunity. You better be here or there'll be consequences. But yeah, that baguette, I've not really seen something like that before. Very interesting. I mean, could you fit that into your mouth? I'm sure some people could think of ways around it. But yeah, aside from that, served on a silver platter. Wow. Oh my God, what are you doing? Come on, man. Stop having trust issues. I know you can't trust everyone around here, but you don't need to stick your fucking black stone heater tester thing to see if the pizza's cooked. Can you not even tell by the visual look of it? Just fucking feel it, man. You don't even fucking insert it. It's gonna be destroying the pizza. Oh my God. God, this guy is on another level. Look at that. What does that say? 137 degrees Fahrenheit. My God. It's fucking hotter than but this freaking pizza's hotter than the Death Valley. My God. I know Mr. X is on another level, in another realm, maybe in the graveyard, but my God, if you consume that pizza on the spot, you're going to be turning into fireballs. Oh my God. It was 131 degrees Fahrenheit for me when I was in the greenhouse once. Why was I in there? I was experimenting my body, man. And got so wet. It was rough, but you know what? I managed it. And this is 137. Oh God. What are they? They must take things differently in America. What's that, man? Confused. Wait, why does this look like it's turning into a pole dancing class? They've moved all the chairs to the side and the tables. We just need the pole. Shack lady, come on. You said the pole's under the bed. Time to bring it out now. Well, we talk about the second round. That live streaming video. I've got the poll out afterwards. Don't worry, man. Let me talk. We'll focus on about the gay talk about Dylan, if he's gay or not. You know, we've all got different orientations, man. You know, I've seen many things in the past. You know, I knew friends in the past and then turned into swingers. But don't worry, Shag Lady. You fucking want swingers. You come here and you look at the live chat and you'll be very surprised, Shag Lady. There's a lot of stuff going on here and you don't even know it, man. You know, we've even got Nerf war battles with plastic foam dart shooters between Ty Corbin, Starcasm TV, Walleye Graph. My God, Nerf teams assemble now. What we got here? Oh yes, we got the. Why would you need hand cream? You're only handling pizzas, aren't you? But yeah, it looks like we've got the daily. Not daily, we've got the weekly Friday night pole session class in the pizza place. Okay, don't really care about that. Thank you. Oh yeah, we got a pizza menu and it's so blurry you can't even read it. Now, do you know, last time I got cut off, okay? I got cut off when I was providing a critical explanation. But now I've got the opportunity to say it once again. So, welcome if you're currently here. As you can see, when we're looking at the photo, it appears a bit blurry. This is the depiction of what Stoney sees when her glasses are taken off. It's very blurry. You seem to appear lost. What do? Pretty much cross your fingers, hope for the best and order whatever. Isn't that right, Stoney? Even when you zoom in, it's just a complete disaster. What a shame. Poor Stoney. Never mind. What do we have? Oh my God. What is that dodgy exit? Yeah. Oh my God. We got the elephant and horse combo. Come on. Can I do a horse? Well, I might perform like one at times. No, I mean my stamina when I'm making my videos for 4 months straight. What are you thinking? Why is your mind so corrupt? You need to cleanse yourself and your mouth too with the mouthwash, okay? Don't worry. But yeah, I mean, I have done the horse sound before, but it's heavily, heavily underappreciated. And you know what? Times like this, I want to be appreciated. It's nice to be appreciated. Appreciated. Yeah? So I'll do it one time, long time for the fun. Okay? Okay? There you go. If you don't like it, well, you know what to do. And then we've got the elephant as well. Yeah, come on, eat those donuts, man. Oh shit, Weedlebee's already finished them all. Sorry. Okay, so we've got a little dodgy garage. 4141. 22334. Welcome to Storage Wars. You're gonna be bidding this. No. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 100, 2, 2, 2, 1,000, 1,000. Sold! And what's inside? Whatever your mind depicts. Okay. Maybe Heavy D already bought it. I don't know. Oh, is that the end of the photos? Looks like it is. Well, that was quite entertaining just for one place. And there's the graveyard. Oh, what was that, Cleo? You wanted to have a walk around it? Looks like it's not going to happen. There's no street view on ground level. God. Okay, quick little flick. There you go. Now with these graves, they're quite spread out, whereas graveyards I've been in are much more compact and not spread out. Okay. So I think what we can conclude, doing the Shack Lady impression is quite tiring, because I've literally gone red. What the hell's gone on there? My God, Shack Lady, I don't know how you manage it for 10 hours straight. Credit to you, okay? But yeah, all in all, hopefully this video provided a bit better understanding around the Lance Kelly situation of what he's said and how he thinks of Ty Corbin. Hopefully it provides an explanation, a different point of view on this video. As said, you can share your thoughts, opinions and reactions to it down below, and Ty Corbin can do the same. You know, where do you think things are at? And I've just remembered right now, as for the prediction, the possibilities down the line, the poll right now, it's last minute, but who cares? Why not? Do you think once the Dylan Rounds case is solved, will there still be internal, external family disputes, tension, drama, right, as a whole? Like all the people that have got involved since, right, and all the stuff that's going on still, maybe more externally, do you think it will continue and pass over even if the Dylan Rounds case is resolved? Let me know your thoughts down below. What I would say is, as for the family conflicts with different families, I wouldn't be surprised if after the Dylan Rounds case is resolved, that Candice Cooley might take legal action, begin a grudge, or catch up on things, catch up on people, which she may have not been able to do beforehand. So it could get messy after the Dylan Rounds case has been solved, if it's solved, right? So it'll be messy there, as that's what I predict for the like family drama. As for the general drama, I think what you might have is people suddenly doing all these videos all of a sudden, right? Oh, the case has been solved. Oh, the case has been solved. The original YouTubers that were covering it all plow on in, do a little 1-2 hour live stream all of a sudden. Then you'll get some like after party drama of people saying, I told you so. Oh, I told you this was going to happen. I told you this outcome. That'll lead to more conflict, more tension, whinging, whining, wetting the pants and twisting the nipples, you know, that type of stuff. Well, maybe not the second thing, but depends who's getting involved, right? And then it will settle down. And most likely, I think, right, the drama unrelated to Dylan Rounds will continue with time. And it might ease off down the line, but much longer term. That's what I think. Because if you think about it, if I didn't cover all these Dylan Rounds videos for the last few months, right, the case would have died down, I guess. But I still think all that drama going on right now and previous would have continued regardless, I think. That's where I'm at. You can leave your thoughts down below. It would be interesting to see the vote results in the poll, to what you think. You know, one of those things. And how do you word it? There's drama in this case and cases like this, but it's not part of the YouTube section, literally depicted as the YouTube drama zone or the drama category, you know what I'm saying? You will get it, and no, I won't say it because I'll get called out for it, but basically, when you look at the typical drama videos, the drama section of YouTube, it tends to be a certain type of behaviour as well. Flicking the head, clicking the wrist, you know, and like talking like this as they carry on. is the best way, brief way of explaining it to you. And it just tends to be fucking like 2-3 hour live streams of just whatever, falling asleep, whinging, whining, and that's about it. And, you know, maybe certain areas of drama is fun and entertaining. Obviously, if you're on the outside and you're not caught up in it, yes, maybe the same can apply here. It's not a bad thing if you think that way. It's just how it is. But yeah, I think really it's inevitable. Anywhere, everywhere, it will happen. It might just be more intensified in an area where people hang around or have stronger personalities and they conflict with one another, right? I do remember once in the past on the Shack Ladies live stream, brought in some British guy. Can't remember what he was like. He was like, yeah, I work for the hacking company. I call people out, and yeah, I've got a few people with me, a few contacts. I'm currently leading the investigation, and yeah, as you can tell, that I sound very excited by what I'm doing, and yeah, I'm here to bring world peace, bring Jim Terry, salty pancakes together, because we need to begin some kind of mediation thing. So hopefully we can sort that out, resolve it. Looks like that went well. Fuck all went down in the end. But yeah, that's just one of those things. My face is getting redder by the day. Maria, you haven't summoned any demons to claw and scratch my face. Then again, when I think of Cleo, I've not seen Cleo in the chat. Maybe she's in the atmosphere somewhere. Stop clawing me. My face is already, you know, red. Anyway, I think that will do for now. If you do have any other like thoughts, opinions, or suggestions, whatever, feel free to list it down below and be able to get round to it. As for Kenny Veach videos, there can still be like more to be made, but with what's currently going on in the Dylan Rounds case, I think there's at least one more other video that's quite important that needs to be covered next, unless something else takes over in between. Okay? The alternating between Kenny Veach and Dylan Rounds feels like it's more doable now than in the past, maybe. Arguably, the odd deeper, more edited video, if there was one, might take more time, or needs to be separated more from the Dylan Rounds case so you can really focus. But like with the map analysis, they can be deep, you can tell a story, they're not too difficult to set up, and they are time efficient, so that's all positive that. So yeah, I think we'll leave it there. Bit of a long video, that's my fault, I can't help it. Oh my god, I'm such a naughty boy. You know, you'll have to beat the naughtiness out of me, won't you? Or choke me, whatever. So I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, good night and goodbye for now.